Every year, advertisers are paid millions of dollars to convince us that we can't live without their product and that we need more of whatever it is they're selling. By the end of 2021, it is expected that businesses will spend over $559 billion on advertising. We've gone from being exposed to 500 ads a year in the 1970s to being exposed to as many as 5,000 a day currently. Those ads constantly bombard us with messages like, "Everyone owns one of these. Your life will be so much better if you have one of these, and you'll never regret it if you purchase our product." Advertising gurus know exactly what they're doing when they craft their ads. They aren't using some new psychological game. All they need to do is dangle their carrot in front of your temptation for greed. Greed is an intense and selfish desire for something, especially wealth, power, or food. The word comes from an Old English word meaning voracious, or always hungry for more. A greedy person has an unending appetite for more. The sin of greed wreaked havoc in the lives of many biblical people. Consider Adam and Eve. Greed caused them to desire the fruit from the forbidden tree of one tree in the Garden of Eden. Lot's desire for better land led his family to the evil cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. Esau's greed led him to trade his birthright for a bowl of stew. The rich young ruler walked away from Jesus grieved and dismayed when Jesus instructed him to give his wealth and possessions away so that he might have treasures in heaven. The wealthy man watched the poor man Lazarus enjoy the blessings of heaven. His love of temporary treasures and money caused him to miss out. And finally, money played a part in Judas's betrayal of Jesus. Just as greed was present in biblical times, it is alive and well today. Greed causes people to hold on tight to their money and possessions and hoard what they get. Instead of trusting God and His provisions, greedy people decide they're better off holding on tight to their stuff, just in case God isn't able to provide for them. Greedy people have an insatiable desire for more of whatever matters to them: money, fame, wealth, possessions. The list goes on and on. We need to be careful not to mistakenly label greedy behavior as ambition. We're conditioned by the world around us to believe that we need to get ahead, set lofty goals, and be highly motivated. There's nothing wrong with those things unless your ambition, so to speak, causes you to be selfish or to keep your eyes constantly on your list of wants so that you can get ahead. If you still need help understanding what greed is, consider its opposite characteristic, generosity. A person with a generous spirit is others-focused. They hold on to the things of this world loosely. They share freely, and they understand that they are simply stewards of God's blessings. A generous person embraces Paul's teaching in 1 Timothy 6:17 through 18, where he says, "Command those who are rich in this present world not to be arrogant, nor to put their hope in wealth, which is so uncertain, but to put their hope in God, who richly provides us with everything for our enjoyment. Command them to do good, to be rich in good deeds, and to be generous and willing to share." Notice in these verses, Paul doesn't just talk about being generous with money. He also emphasizes that a generous spirit goes beyond just opening our wallets to give, but also includes opening our schedules to give of our time, opening our talents and spiritual gifts to serve, and opening our hearts to give of our love. In his book, 7 Fatal Distractions, Ed Young gives us 4 tips on how to avoid greed in our lives. First, learn the secret of admiring only. Just because you see something nice doesn't mean you need to own it. Take Jesus' instructions in Luke 12:15 seriously when he says, "Watch out, be on your guard against all kinds of greed. A man's life does not consist in the abundance of his possessions." Then learn the secret of giving things away. Help put the things of this world in proper perspective by holding onto them loosely and giving away freely. Don't allow stuff to become more important to you than it should. Also, be generous toward God. Listen to a story Jesus told his followers about a man in Luke 12:18 through 21. Then he said, "This is what I'll do. I will tear down my barns and build bigger ones, and there I will store my surplus grain. And I'll say to myself, you have plenty of grain laid up for many years. Take life easy, eat, drink, and be merry." But God said to him, "You fool, this very night your life will be demanded from you. Then who will get what you have prepared for yourself? This is how it will be for whoever stores up things for themselves, but is not rich toward God." Finally, consider death and its relationship to things. I'm sure you've heard this said before, but once again, consider the fact that when you die, you will take nothing from this earth with you. At that time, the only thing that will matter is your relationship with God. You have a choice set before you. Will you spend your time acquiring, stockpiling, and worrying about your stuff? Or will you live generously and give abundantly of your time, money, and self to God and others?